Hey there guys, welcome back to ADHD Genius. Today we're going to talk about one of the most frustrating habits that can hold us back. Procrastination. You know, that thing where you know exactly what you need to do, but somehow you just can't seem to get started or finish or even begin. Yeah, we've all been there. As someone with ADHD, I'm guilty of procrastinating more often than I'd like to admit. But guess what? You're not alone. We're all guilty of putting things off. And it's not because we're lazy, it's because our brains work differently. And that's what makes this topic so relatable. So, what is procrastinating? Or what is procrastination? Procrastination is the tendency to delay or put off something that you need or want to do. Maybe it's a homework assignment, a project at work, or even cleaning your room. Yup, I'm definitely guilty of procrastinating. Doing everything except what I'm supposed to be doing. The problem is, when we're faced with a task that we just don't want to do, many of us will put it off until tomorrow, setting it aside until we feel less overwhelmed with all of our other responsibilities, or simply waiting until we have more energy to tackle the task on a new day. However, this is when problems can start to occur. If you find that you're putting off these tasks again and again, never getting to them later, that's when problems can occur. And procrastination is especially common for those of us with ADHD, for a variety of different reasons. ADHD can make it hard to focus, stay organized, and get stuff done. People who procrastinate tend to have high levels of anxiety as well as poor impulse control. And that's why today I'd like to talk about why those of us with ADHD tend to procrastinate and the impact that it can have on our lives. I'll also cover some of the different ADHD symptoms that can contribute to procrastination and tips to overcome procrastination. So, why do those of us with ADHD procrastinate so much? Well, we all procrastinate from time to time. However, when we develop a habit of putting things off that need to get done, this is when procrastination can start to affect our overall mental health and well-being. We might tend to procrastinate for a variety of reasons, including the desire to engage in more interesting activities. For those of us with ADHD, procrastination is often influenced by our ADHD symptoms. It's not because we're lazy or that we don't care about our goals. Our brains just work differently. When we're faced with a challenging task, procrastination offers us a way out of that task. And the factors that contribute to procrastination are complex and varied, but problems with executive functioning often play a key part in this. You might be wondering, what's executive functioning? Executive functioning skills are a set of mental skills that are needed to plan, organize, initiate, and complete tasks. These skills include things such as working memory, time management, and self-control. When we are confronted with a task, those of us with ADHD might struggle to start that task and monitor our progress. We might leave the task momentarily only to get distracted by something else. And all of these factors mean that tasks keep getting put off, sometimes until the last minute. In other cases, they might not get done at all. So, what are the consequences of procrastination? Well, besides for feeling guilty and stressed out, which is no fun, putting things off can lead to missed deadlines, lost opportunities, and decreased productivity. It's like trying to build a house on quicksand. It might look good at first, but eventually it's going to collapse. And let's not forget about the impact procrastination can have on our mental health. When we put things off, we might feel anxious, depressed, or even ashamed. Like you're stuck in a never-ending cycle of shoulda, coulda, woulda. Many adults out there with ADHD struggle with chronic procrastination. And this procrastination can cause problems at work when job responsibilities aren't completed until the last minute. It can cause financial stress at home when paying the bills is constantly being delayed. And it can cause problems in relationships when you continue to put off your partner, like not prioritize them. And it can make them feel unimportant. So, what are some of the factors that contribute to ADHD-related procrastination? Number 1, problems getting started. So you know how Sometimes it's hard to get started on a task. Like you really want to do it, but your brain just won't cooperate. Yeah, that's what we're talking about here. For those of us with ADHD, getting started can be super hard, especially if the task isn't super interesting. And then there's the problem of organization. Figuring out where to start and what to do first can be like trying to solve a puzzle. Number 2, getting sidetracked. Because then, once we finally get started and are able to get our attention focused on the task at hand, we might find that it's hard to sustain our attention as our mind wanders. And we might get sidetracked because it can be hard to stay alert, motivated, and on track when we aren't very interested by the task at hand. It's like our brains have a mind of their own, and our brains are the ones that decide what's more important, which is usually something else entirely. Staying focused is hard for those of us with ADHD. It's like trying to hold on to a slippery fish. It keeps slipping away. Number 3, last-minute propulsion. Some of us with ADHD might find ourselves putting tasks off until the very last minute. And then, suddenly, we're in a rush to finish everything before it's late. And this can create an emergency-type situation that motivates us to get moving. But it can also lead to stress and anxiety, and often not so great results. Number 4, sense of paralysis and feeling overwhelmed. Then there are times when we feel completely paralyzed. It's like we're stuck in quicksand. We know we need to move forward, but our feet feel heavy and unresponsive. And this feeling can be extremely overwhelming and crippling. You might feel like you're drowning in tasks and responsibilities. And this is why we need strategies to break through this feeling of being overwhelmed and get moving again. Number 5, impaired sense of time, or poor time management, lack of time management. Sometimes it's the impaired sense of time that leads to problems with getting tasks started. If you have trouble estimating how long it takes to complete a task, you might put off the task, thinking you're still allowing yourself enough time to get it done. ADHD can make it difficult to track the passage of time as well. And so, you may find that those deadlines sneak up on you before you know it. Number 6 is fear of failure. So sometimes there can be so much anxiety associated with starting a task that those feelings can create an even greater obstacle for us. The fear of not doing the task correctly and fear of imperfection and the fear of failure can all lead to procrastination. All of these factors can contribute to procrastination, and this is why we need strategies for managing our time effectively. As someone who struggled with ADHD and procrastination, I've had my fair share of experiences. There was one time I spent 3 hours browsing Instagram instead of studying for my exam, or the time I put off my homework until the last minute and ended up pulling an all-nighter. Yeah, it wasn't pretty. But here's the thing. Once I learned about my time management and executive functioning challenges and developed strategies, I then developed strategies to overcome them. My procrastination habits then began to fade away, and it wasn't easy, but it was worth it. Even though there is a link between ADHD and procrastination, this doesn't mean that those of us with ADHD have to continue to procrastinate. So you might be wondering, how can we overcome procrastination? Whether you have ADHD or not, here are 5 tips that have helped me overcome procrastination. Tip number 1, break larger tasks into smaller ones. This helps keep the tasks from feeling too difficult and overwhelming. If you want to clean your closet, for instance, instead of tackling it all at once, you might do the top shelf on one day, the clothes on the hanging rack another day, and everything on the floor on a third day, and just organize it all, get it all done. And tip number 2 is set deadlines. It can be easier to procrastinate if you believe that you have all the time in the world to accomplish your task. So set a deadline for the things that you need to accomplish, even if there isn't a specific deadline for your task. You can use the due date on bills, for example, as a deadline for paying them. Tip number 3, reward yourself for small victories. This tip specifically has helped me a lot, because if you're putting off doing something because it's just too boring, you should come up with some type of reward that you'll get once you get it done, because this can help you push through the negative emotions that are causing you to procrastinate, because you know that something good lies on the other side. Tip number 4, limit your distractions when trying to concentrate on the task at hand. Because since procrastination can be a big result of having your attention diverted while working on a task, try to limit the number of distractions that may pull you away. Silence your phone and turn off the TV when working on the task. Also, let others around you know that you don't want to be disrupted. Tip number 5 is seek professional help. Research has found that engaging in acceptance and commitment therapy, or ACT, helps reduce procrastination in people with ADHD. ACT involves learning how to accept negative thoughts or circumstances while also committing to healthier behaviors. That's it for today's video. I hope you found some of these tips helpful for overcoming procrastination, and now you know how to overcome procrastination. So remember that you're not alone in this struggle, and you're capable of achieving anything you set your mind to. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell for more content about living with ADHD, and I'll see you guys in the next video.